Thank you very much, Karen. Um, as Karen mentions, I work at Pfizer in the Cancer Vaccines and Immunotherapeutics Lab. We're based out in La Jolla, California. Um, Give this. So what are some of the main differences between research and industry and academia? Uh, some of the differences is that for in academia or in industry, I mean, the main goal is to bring a product to market versus publish or kind of investigate novel pathways. And so that's kind of what drives our research every day is how can we bring this safe, effective product to market to kind of help people. And that kind of drives how you think and how you plan your week or experiments. Even if you get some cool data, you think it might be really cool. Like for example, we ran a couple experiments to see how adjuvants can help T-cell or helper cell generation. And we found some differences in adjuvants that could work, and some they correlated well with our, we were making a flu vaccine at the time. And in academia, you find this novel differences. You want to research the pathways and look at TLR signals and things like that, but that wasn't our goal. Our goal is kind of we found a difference. We can choose a couple different adjuvants to work further, but in all, we're not worried about how it works. It's like whether or not we get a better effect. Timelines are really important, or more critical, and you want to try and bring this product to market very quickly and efficiently. So the more time it takes to bring it to market, you may have a competitor that may beat you to it, and that's going to affect the profitability of the product. Or in smaller biotech companies who, I'll talk later, may not have a lot of funding. They may only have funding worth about 6 months to a year, so they need to get some new data to show, to get some new investors to come in and support the research. Our job is going to be more specialized. We work in a larger, more diverse team, especially in the big pharma companies. So I'm in the immunology section, but there are some pharmacologists, a lot of chemists, and so we're there to kind of bring our immunology expertise to help develop this product. Whereas in the smaller, especially academia lab, you're going to be involved in all the products, all parts of your project. This is going to be more specialized. And also you have a more formal corporate structure, which unfortunately means lots of meetings, which gets annoying after a while. So what kind of research specialty is best suited for a career in industry? And it's pretty much everything, no matter what type of different companies. Even in our section, we have people with genetics, the cancer biologists, kind of see what mutations in the cancer we can target. A lot of immunologies, biostatistics for clinical development. We have microbiologists and virologists. Environmental science is a big thing. Plant science is big as well. So this is a good thing that pretty much you can go with your background in research, whatever you have. There's probably some type of company that you can kind of apply your research expertise in. Next is kind of the best places to discover industry positions and postdocs. One is the company website. Even Pfizer is a big company, but we're kind of broke up into different sections. But believe it or not, I received this position by just applying to the company website with no connections at all. So I think it just helps that I was a good fit, and they were looking for someone. They were open to looking at someone with my background. So it can happen that you can just apply to a website, and you're just not going to get lost in HR spam box, but people do look at them, and so it's something good. Biospace, Medzella, Indeed, and LinkedIn are all good places where you can find postdoc positions and new positions in industry. Networking is always good. If you are in a big city especially, there are biotech organizations like where you can go network, or your alumni organizations. And also there are postdoc positions and internship positions in industry as well. So I guess, what is a postdoc in industry like? The way it works for us and some other companies I know is that our group will have to submit a kind of proposal to a larger postdoc review board about what the product's going to be and how it's going to help the company. The tenure is going to be 2 to 4 years. Like I said, you often have a defined project to further investigate the mechanisms of compounds. So the postdocs that we have, they will kind of go more in depth. Similar to a regular postdoc, the objective is to publish And one advantage is most industry postdocs do pay more than academic postdocs. One of the disadvantages is that if you're thinking about pursuing a postdoc in industry, make sure that the department will provide you support for your success. So you have a postdoc, you may have 1 or 2 in a section of 100 people, and this postdoc is kind of, they're looking at how can I publish, what more can I do to learn about this compound, whereas a lot of the other departments is thinking about how can we bring this product to market or different products to market. So the postdocs I've talked to, they said they kind of found kind of like secluded or left alone, may not have a support because you have a different mission as a postdoc to publish, because you may still be interested in going to academia versus in a lot of the group in the industry, the other group may be really working to bring this product to market. So if you're looking to do a postdoc in industry, then kind of make sure you have the proper support in order that you can still publish and still have the support of the group as well. So some tips to find a position in industry. One, you have to start early. The job search may take 6+ months just because it depends on when the positions are available. You have to be open to relocation, kind of helps. Where you talk about in academia, you can probably find a lab at various places throughout the country. In industry now, we're kind of localizing to various hubs where you can have a lot of their expertise together. So Bay Area, Boston, San Diego, all these cities are where most of the postdoc jobs are at. That's like you can't find jobs elsewhere. I know in Chicago there's Abbott. I know there's some in Madison, Wisconsin. Some other smaller cities will have some smaller companies as well, but it helps if you're, that's where the majority of the companies are going to be located, so it helps if you're open to relocation. If you're applying online, if you don't know anyone, it does help to alter your resume or CV to each position to highlight the research experience and the relevant to the disease area of the group. And also kind of say more than just your publications. I know I review some resumes or CVs, and some of them just have their publications on there. And that doesn't tell me anything about you. We know that you graduated, you're probably doing a postdoc, or you're thinking about doing a postdoc, that you're smart, you can publish, but I want to know more about you than just publishing. So it helps if you highlight some of the projects you've done, some of the skills you do, because we're looking to bring someone in who has a certain skill set often. So highlight that on your resume whenever you're applying. One is definitely, like I said, there's mentions internships or networking or alumni organizations. And a lot of people don't think about this, but another way, instead of just the pharmaceutical or biotech industry, the medical device is another great alternative to finding a job in industry if that's what you are interested. A lot of places have field application scientists. So one day when I had probably a bad day in the lab during grad school, is I thought about all the kind of reagents, the company makes the reagents that you use in lab, they hire and fund PhD scientists. So either they could be someone who to call for technical support, or if you work for who's going to come in and give you a presentation in lab or demo, a lot of those people are people with PhDs, and they're looking for alternative research. And it's exciting because you get to go and visit all these labs and learn about the research, and you're kind of an expert in your field with that device or with that product. So I think that's another great alternative to finding a postdoc a job in industry. So what are some of the advantages and some of the diverse career options in industry as well? Is that pretty much if you're in industry, you can find a job in a lot of different ways, inside and both outside the lab as well. People most often think about preclinical research, which is what I do, which is a very great and rewarding job, but there's also the clinical research. Designing large clinical trials is still that a lot of biostatistics can major in as well. Manufacturing, especially with biologics and these monoclonal antibodies, these are grown in cells, and there's large-scale protein purification involved as well. And we employ PhD scientists to help tell us how to do that as well. Outside of the lab, there's medical writing and medical affairs. I know some people who went into medical writing, and that's something you may not need a postdoc to get a job in that area, but writing the IND applications for new drugs and all the inserts in the drugs. A lot of those are people who are funded or PhD or MDs, and they're trained to do this. I mentioned the field application scientists as well. And also the more business side as well. Sales, marketing, a lot of those sections are also employ PhDs or MDs. A medical science liaison is people who kind of give the more technical presentations to doctors. And then straight business development or consulting. I know some PhDs that went to straight business consulting because they figure you have a PhD and it trains you how to think and solve problems, and that can be solved to drug development or some other type of business as well. Okay, so what are some of the advantages to research career in pharmaceutical industry? One is increased salary, stock options. I must say that those are good things that, as you think about, you do your graduate school research and your postdoc and you want to retire and do good things. That's something to think about. You have a large research budget resulting in more resources. I was talking to someone else today that my ordering limit before I have to get approval is $5,000. Anything below $5,000 I can order away. You get the satisfaction of bringing a product to market, is seeing something that you worked hard and to help develop, and you can, hopefully it will help people as well in the future. Better work-life balance. You definitely have more of a normal 9 to 5, 9 to 6 job compared to a postdoc where I worked a lot more hours. As I mentioned, the diverse career options, and because of the large research budget, you're able to tackle big questions. And also another big thing is no grant writing as well. Although you have to write things like study reports, like IND applications for the FDA and things like that, but no big grant writing as well. Not every job is perfect, as Karen mentioned, so there are definitely some disadvantages to working in the pharmaceutical industry. One is less independence to decide your project. And to go along with that is decreased ownership of your project or data. When you publish a paper, there's always going to be a record that you did that work and it's something novel that you contributed to the field. Whereas if I work on a product that goes to market, my name's not going to be associated with that at all. I have the personal satisfaction, but no one else is going to know that. And also less independence to decide a project. You in this company or you're in this section, and if I have this idea to start a product, it takes a lot of work to kind of develop that, or a lot of funding as well. So a lot of times they may say we want to put resources into a certain project, and you have to work on that project. And right now we don't have the time or the funding to start a new project. So you don't have the independence as you may have in academia. It may be difficult to return to academia if you want to, go back to academia. Decreased teaching opportunities if that's something that you're interested in doing. I mean, it's nice that we have a lot of lab clubs and journal clubs, so I get to teach kind of the younger research associates, the basics of immunology and the background of why we're doing the project, but we don't have a formal class that I can teach regularly. The job availability may depend on the market. Market's getting better, but 2008, 2010, when I first started to look, and the jobs were not going so well, then it was hard to find a job because there just weren't as many available. And also, it may depend on other factors as well. I worked for Pfizer, and they had this big drug, Lipitor, which was one of the biggest selling drugs of all time. When it went off patent and we lost a lot of money, they cut the research funding by 25%, and so they're not going to hire as many jobs or not as many scientists available. So those are the kind of things that these outside market forces may hinder your ability to get a job in the industry. And whether or not you agree with this, I like to think I am helping people, but the objective of all the businesses is profit. And so if you have, I know there's been some negative press about the pharmaceutical industry and the cost of the drugs, things like that. And so if you have some moral objective or disagreements with that, then you have to take that into consideration as well. So what are some differences between working in small biotech versus big pharma you talked about? Definitely some of the resources. The smaller companies have less resources. Smaller companies are less stable. Like I said, you may only have funding for 6 months to a year. But however, in a small company, you may have bigger influence. There might be a company of like 12 people, so each employee has a greater influence and a greater positive effect on the company. The experience in a small company is going to be greater because if it's small, you have the ability to participate in various processes. And there's also the risk versus reward. In a smaller company, like I said, you may have funding for 6 months to a year, and then they may shut down the company. But if the company does well, you get stock options, you have increased chance for a monetary reward. So you have to decide which working style best suits your personality versus for academia versus working in industry. In industry, you're going to have more of a regular working pattern versus irregular working pattern. You have to look at your personality. Do you enjoy working in teams like we do in the industry? Like I said, we're part of a big team versus working more independently. In industry, we just have working more breadth, a more wide variety of topics versus in academia, you go more depth into one topic. And like I said, you work in diverse teams versus working more specialized teams. In your lab, everyone's going to be a kind of a specialist in that topic, where here we work in more diverse teams. The important thing is you have to own your career. You have to take time to think about what career will provide you joy and the best fit for your interests. I knew coming in, I wanted to work in the industry, and I know sometimes that's frowned upon with the C2E2, so I'm going to the dark side. That's conference down the road, but you have to figure out what works best for you, and we're all adults here, and you can't do a path to please someone else. You have to work, think about what pleases you best. Thank you.